Hey there, YouTube. This is Carrie and Poetry coming to you with another video. It's been a few months since I posted a video. A lot of things have happened in my life since then. Now I'm fully retired, enjoying life, trying to get caught up around our property. During retirement, we've been gone quite a bit. We've taken several bucket list trips. We've also been to Austin, checked out some of the Texas Monthly top barbecue places. We have been trying the Texas Monthly top barbecue places whenever possible, just to have a frame of reference on what the best barbecue tastes like. There's been a lot of interest on YouTube in my smoker design. There's several folks that are actually building a smoker like this or are having one built. So this is kind of a follow-up to some of the lessons I've learned operating offset smokers and operating this smoker in particular. And there's also going to be a test that I did cooking some chicken breast to show how even it cooks. So let's get into this. So you'll notice something I came up with was this windscreen. I was having a lot of trouble with the wind affecting my fire. The wind here is generally out of the south, which is that away, which blows straight into the firebox. There's the house, got my shop and porch, that is south. That creates a lot of swirling. That wreaked havoc on my fire and keeping a consistent fire and nice even temperatures. Something else I've learned is the sizes of splits that this pit likes. So these are the size splits that I tend to run. They're 16 inches long. It also does well with 12-inch long splits. It just depends on the way you're running the pit and the way the weather is acting and how dry the wood is. My wood is all well seasoned. I'm running about 12 to 15% moisture content on my wood. For reference, Dallas-Fort Worth, if you buy regular firewood and then split it in two, that's about the size splits I'm running in this pit. Something I have experienced is running too clean of a fire. You know, all the people on YouTube talk about the thin blue smoke. Well, if you get too thin of smoke, then it does not impart smoke flavor on the meat. So let's talk about thermometers and temperature monitoring. I bought these thermocouple fittings for my digital thermometer. I was going to go full digital. That way I could remotely monitor the pit. What I have learned, the digital temperature monitoring gives me way too much feedback. Digital temperature monitoring reacts instantly, and that makes me always want to be messing with the fire. I much prefer the analog gauges. The analog gauges are a little bit slower to react, so it gives you a smoothing effect on the temperatures, so you don't see little minor quirks in the temperature as the fire settles or the logs change. So I really prefer the analog gauges. Something else, I've also had some lessons learned on calibrating my analog gauges. So I tried clipping them to the pot of boiling water, and that did not work for me. It was showing ambient air temperature when the pit wasn't even running at like 150 degrees. Figured out is that when they're clipped on the side of a pot of boiling water, then the housing is exposed to steam, and this gets hot. Well, that has mechanics in it that aren't normally hot when the pit's running. So what I did is I took a small board, drilled some holes in it just big enough for the stem, laid it across the top of the pot, stuck the thermometers through the holes so that nothing but the stem was exposed to the boiling water. I calibrated the thermometers. Now when the pit's not on, they read what the ambient temperature is, and I feel like I have a lot more accurate read on what the actual temperature is in the pit. Another lesson learned was trying to cook with digital probes in the same locations on the grates that I had used in previous videos to demonstrate how you can dial in even temps across the smoker. Apparently, when you add meat to the grates, it causes turbulence and makes the probes on the grates unreliable. I really like using the thermometers that are 4 inches above the grate. That's just above where the meat would be, where you have a steady airflow. I can also tell you that during some of my cooks, if you try to keep wood burning all the time, even with smaller splits, eventually you will get such a cold bed that the pit wants to run like 300. And it's hard to keep the temp down, especially if you're wanting to keep wood burning so that you're getting good smoke. So there have been some times that after about 3, maybe 4 hours, I have to remove some coals to help get the temperature down. So based on some feedback that I've received from viewers on YouTube, I have actually started running this pit some with the damper wide open on the stack and using the door to help control the fire and control airflow, and that does actually work really well. I prefer it for my proteins like chicken breast. I've started cooking chicken breast on this thing a lot. Whenever I cook chicken breast, I will usually open the damper all the way up, place my chicken breast right here nearest the diffuser, and then I'll usually set the door just on 1 notch open. It appears like there's about a 25-degree difference, depends on the temperature you're running it at, but it appears like about a 25-degree temperature difference from the diffuser side to the collector side when you're running with the damper wide open. I do caution, with the damper wide open, this thing does move so much air it will dry meat out. I tried cooking some ribs that way, and by the time you get the ribs done, they're dried out. So if you're cooking something more than a couple of hours, I would recommend closing down the damper on the stack to regulate your airflow, to slow down your airflow, and then opening the door up more. So I did a chicken breast test. I do apologize, it turned out to be a pretty clumsy test. It was really, really windy, so I started not to do the test, and I thought, well, I'm cooking them anyway, so I may as well give it a shot. I did. It's pretty clumsy, but for all you interested in this pit design, it will help you to have an idea of how even it cooks. Stay tuned for the chicken breast test. Side of the back, here's the... As you just heard, it was too windy for good audio on this part of the video. The main thing this is showing is the setup for my chicken breast test. At this point, I had just decided to go ahead with the test, and I did not have all my probes in. Please ignore the 4th breast, as it was smaller than the other 3. Alright folks, we're at a 45-minute check-in on the chicken breast. Pit right now is running about 260, 265. Chicken breast right now. This is the one nearest the firebox, center, and then stack end. On the chicken breast, the spread in temperature is partly my fault due to the wind. I wasn't going to do the test, then I decided to go ahead with it at the last minute, so I had the door open for more than I should have, getting the temperature probe set in the chicken breast and getting everything ready. I put the chicken breast nearest the firebox on first, then the middle, then the stack end, and so once I got everything set and shut the door, there was already a spread in temperatures with the breast nearest the firebox, which is in the basically in the throat of the airflow, was already hotter, and the one in the middle was also warmer than the one nearest the stack. Now they have been, the one nearest the stack has caught up just a little bit. It's only about 9 degrees behind now compared to the one nearest the firebox. It was about 13 degrees behind. The chicken breast seemed to be kind of in a little bit of a stall right now. Maybe that's what's helping it to catch up, I don't know. But anyway, that's where we stand, and so I will be getting back when they're near done. Hey folks, we're at the 1 hour check-in with the instant read. The temps I got were 145, 143, and 140. I just threw another log on the fire. I'm bumping it up to about 300. It's actually burning relatively clean, very little smoke. I'm just trying to get these things done. Anyway, they look nice. They have good color on them. So that's the 1 hour check-in. There is my so there's the temps according to this thermometer. Hey folks, Carrie back with the chicken breast test. So it has been 1 hour and 25 minutes. Here are the temps on the chicken breast. In full disclosure, a few minutes ago I switched the chicken breast near the firebox and the one near the stack. Then I opened the stack wide open to get the one that was near the stack caught up. So looks like I kind of overshot a little bit, but anyway, they're coming up close to 155. I'm about to wrap them in tinfoil with about a half a tablespoon of butter each, and then give them about 10 more minutes. That should get them to 155, which according to FDA time temperature charts, it only has to be 155 for like 2.5-3 minutes to kill all bacteria, so we're good. More to come. Okay folks, wrap the chicken in foil with some butter and finish it off to a temperature of 155. It's been at 155 for several minutes, so it's safe. There's the finished product. Very pretty chicken. Cut into it, there it is. Nice and juicy. So there you go. There's the chicken breast test complete. Stop.